What's up everyone, welcome back. This week, following on from a poll and various messages we had asking when we're bringing back the scary content, we thought we would sit down and speak about a few weird things that actually happened to us post-filming LRL Season 1.
Yeah, so there was a period of time after we filmed LRL Season 1 when a few weird, spooky things kept happening to us, and due to a series of events, we've been led to believe that it is due to activity linked to our Ouija board that we used to film LRL Season 1. So basically this video is going to be us explaining what happened and why we feel that way. This is the story of why we didn't bring our Ouija board to our new apartment.
So you're probably thinking why we're rooting all this back to the Ouija board, considering we had no activity whatsoever with the Ouija board when we were filming. Obviously we had way more activity with the dowsing rods and the EMF meter. But after we filmed, we had a quiet period, and literally nothing happened. We wasn't scared. Yeah, about 2 months, nothing happened. Like, we wasn't worried that anything followed us from the series, anything like that. Reason for that being is we were warned to keep the Ouija board and the planchette apart, just to close any portals and just to, even for our own peace of mind, we just didn't, whether that is true or not, we did not want these two things together. However, basically...
We fucked up. Which brings us to Act 1, Scene 1. This is the catalyst of everything that happened afterwards, okay? So, basically, one day I was having a little spring clean of my room, and then I realised that the Ouija board was still in my house. So that was because when we had left Chilwell Abbey Hotel, remember when we left at like 5 in the morning, we just packed all our stuff together, just got an Uber and haul-assed home, and I didn't realise that I brought the Ouija board home with me. And my mum had always said, do not bring that into this house. So I did not bring that into this house.
Lindsay did.
Yeah. So I just was like, it's 5 in the morning, I've just woke up and been like rushed out of this haunted hotel. Like, I don't even know what's in my backpack at this point. So I just got in the house, and then it went until I was cleaning my room out like ages later that I realised it was there. So I said to Lindsay, like, I'm freaking out, you need to take it. So she was like, okay. And luckily...
Take it to my house, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't know none of this. Them two evil conniving girls did not inform me of this.
But you kept it there this whole time.
I kept it there
and was happy with it, and like your mum was fine with it, and
yeah.
and she wanted to play with it, whereas my mum was like so superstitious and was like, no, it can't be here.
So basically I got palmed off with the backpack, and I didn't know what came over me that day. I just completely forgot about the whole rules, and I packed the Ouija board and the planchette together in the same backpack, and then just left it there for like
in our house
for ages.
Together.
But again we didn't think nothing of it at all. Like
I didn't know nothing about
it. Like I slept next to it in the bag and stuff. I just didn't think nothing of it until, well, it all started with you, didn't it? It started off with me, the blissfully ignorant girl, did not know that the Ouija board would follow me home. So I was home alone one day, and I was just going about my day, did not think, I just feel like I was not scared whatsoever about the series after I'd done it. I was just so like ignorant to it all.
Yeah, I think we were more so glad that it was over.
Yeah.
We were like, we don't have to be scared
I didn't think
anymore.
about it again, like that was that. But there was one day where I was walking up the stairs in my house, and obviously as you walk up the stairs you can see the living room in the far background of the house, and as I just looked, what I thought I seen was this, I don't know what it was, the only way I can describe it is like a shadow figure, and it just sort of travelled from the couch towards the telly, so it sort of went out of my view. Like left to right it was.
Left to right, basically. I didn't know what it was, but I blinked twice and then it was gone. And I was just a bit freaked out, but it was a bit like...
No one was in, like I
no one was in. But when
I
I get into like scenarios like that, I just think, it's not real, it didn't happen. So again, I just texted Lindsay and Rosie about it and forgot about it. I thought I didn't even want to acknowledge it anymore. So a few days later, I'm going up the stairs again, and as I get to the top of the stairs, I head into my bedroom. My mum's room is to the right and her door is completely open. And what I saw was again like this black shadow figure, but it looked like it was just sat, like perched on my mum's bed. This sounds like similar to the sort of
when you moved your arm, then it made the back of my ship.
We've had this happening again.
Yes, so again for a split second, it's just like as I looked in the room, I felt like I seen a black shadow figure sat on my mum's bed. Like that's every typical horror story, just someone sitting on the end of the bed. Like,
no, but
this was at the top of the bed.
Just like
at the top of the bed.
Yeah.
Ooh,
but again, I was home alone, so whether this is my mind,
it was sat on top of the bed.
On top of the pillow of the bed.
Oh,
exactly where
that's
my
like the story.
mum
Oh my god!
oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I've just put two and two together. This is exactly where my mum sleeps, on the top of the bed.
Ew.
This links into something we'll tell you in a second.
Oh,
no
that
more.
is weird.
No more. Okay, see you next week.
So Louise seen the shadow figure, and then like she told us about it, we were all kind of a bit creeped out, but then we just forgot about it and just kind of
crazy.
blocked it out. And then it was a few days later, I don't know the exact time frame, but I'd say a few days later, and I was sat in the front living room, and one of our viewers sent in a screenshot of the Lennox Castle video, and what she thought it looked like a dementor. It's after we heard the growl noise and Rosie actually seen the white figure jump past as we're leaving, and we're talking about it freaked out. In the top of the castle, it's like a dementor figure looking out at us, and I'd just received that picture through my phone. I was like, oh my god, Louise, look at this, and we were so freaked out by it, talking about it. Literally a few seconds later, my mum came into the living room we were in and was like, oh my god, have you just been in the back living room? And we were like, no, like, we haven't. And she literally thoroughly did not believe us because she was convinced she'd seen a shadow figure.
She thought we were winding it up.
The shadow figure walked the exact same pathway of the shadow figure that Louise actually saw. And Louise had actually not told my mum about the shadow figure she'd saw yet, because Louise thought it'll creep my mum out if she's home alone. So my mum didn't even know Louise had seen anything.
Can I just jump in though and just say, my synopsis on that is that, you know the way everyone always says, if you like think about entities and talk about them a lot, like specific ones, you know, like someone who's got like a specific ghost in the house and it's always been there. When you go through like times of like activity flaring up, is because you've been thinking about it a lot or talking about it a lot, and it kind of like gives it the energy to like kind of manifest itself. At the time, I mean, I personally don't believe that we like physically brought something home from Lennox Castle, but I think that something is somehow attached to maybe the things that we were using, or sadly maybe us. And
I don't think it's even us. I literally think it's the fact this is like we had to quiet 2 months until I put the Ouija board and the planchette together, and then this stuff started happening. Like, I don't even think it's attached to us.
Something woke up. That's how I feel. Something woke up. But I just think like what I wanted to interject with then was there was a lot of people talking about that entity, like on Instagram and everything like that. There was loads of people who came forward and was like, oh my god, I was watching that with my boyfriend and he saw it, or someone sent me a picture of this when they were watching it and we just didn't say anything at the time. So like a ton of people were talking about this entity that we hadn't even noticed at the time of filming. So we're really, really giving this a lot of power, a lot of thought, a lot of energy, and then it kind of manifests itself in the next room. And it's like kind of like menacing, but like
obviously we know like people were skeptical, they can't debunk that, and like, you literally could debunk that, but I just think we need to touch upon how creepy that was. Like the exact same moment we just discovered this, my mum had just seen something the exact same time in the other room.
It is just weird that me and my mum both seen the same shadowy figure in the same situation of the house. It was just parallel.
You at this point didn't even know that Lindsay had brought back the Ouija board and kept it together, so it went as if it was on your mind and you're like paranoid in case something happens. You were just like living your life, you were just vibing, like going to the toilet, and then like turns out the shadow man downstairs is like vibing as well, like I'm back. Oh my god, as well, I've literally just realised like this is so, like you can tell that it's been 4 months since this happened, because we're in February now and this happened in November. It's like time doesn't even exist when we're in lockdown, so this is why I'm confused, so don't come at me for not remembering the perfect timeline. But anyway, when the Ouija board has initially been moved from my house, there was like a day later, I'd say, it was like the next day, when the fleece that I'd bought. So not
did we forget that out? Sorry, the camera cut out, so we had to restart.
So before we were rudely interrupted by the memory card, what I was saying was that like a day later, after the Ouija board had been taken from my house to Lindsay and Louise's house, I was at work and my mum rang me and said, can you pick up like these blankets for your dad, like as like a gift from me for Christmas? So I was like, okay, cool. Did that and came home and she was like, put them in your room so that like he doesn't see them. So I was like, okay, and these are like 2 blankets like folded up and like bound together with like ribbon. So I just put them, as I walked into my room, I'm trying to paint a picture here, I hope it's efficient. As you walk into my room, if like you turn left and there's the bed, and she'd left a pile of washing already like at the edge of the bed. It's basically like on the far inside of the bed, like against the wall, where I'd left these blankets. So put them down, went into my sister's room to have a little chin wag, and then next minute my mum comes flying in and I'm just like, are you joking? And I was like, no. And she was like, you've just left the fleeces like on your bedroom floor, like what the hell? And I was like, no, I didn't. I had to put them actually on the far inside of my bed because you left washing on the bed, so the far from the floor. So she said that she'd walked into my room and seen them on the floor, like basically in front of the door, which is like a good, I'd say like 3 meters away from where I'd left them. So they would have physically, these heavy fleecy blankets would have had to lift up, go past the pile of washing that I'd put them behind, and travel along the room and just land like in front of the door. Like, how?
Well, even if like who would leave? For one, it's a present, so like you were hiding it. Two, why would, even if we're in a present, why would you just think I'm gonna leave these fleeces on the footway as soon as you step into your room and just leave them on the floor in front of the door?
One, it's a trip hazard, and like I'm all about health and safety. And then two, like,
It's
they
new
were brand new.
things.
Yeah, why would I leave them on the floor?
floor?
Yeah. So then I got in trouble, and I felt like the ghost knew that was gonna happen, and I feel like the whole time they were stood there like,
I just don't
It's
get
so funny because no one believed you either, so it looked like Rosie was lying.
I know, literally, and then it like clicked, and I was like, that was just after we'd like started panicking about the Ouija board, and I was like, get it out the
And
house.
put them
then
together
something
in
like
your
that.
house to then move. They didn't get
Yeah.
put together in our house, they were put together in your house and then moved to our house. So these two pieces connected in your house still.
Yeah.
Hence why activity happened in your house as well as ours.
Sorry that I forgot to mention that earlier. I know that that's like throwing a bit of a spanner in the works of like the perfect little timeline that we're running with there. That's my fault. I take full blame for it. Now let's go back to once the Ouija board had gotten into these ladies' house.
So remember when I said that there was an important part about the fact that I seen this figure sat on the top of the pillows of my mum's bed? This is important because one night me and my mum were home alone again in the house, and I was in my bedroom and she was in her bedroom trying to fall asleep. She then called me in randomly, was like, come here quick. So she said, oh my god, the weirdest thing ever has just happened to me. And I was like, why, what? And she said, I'm just lying here on the pillow. So she's lying sideways with her head right buried into the pillow. And she said, as she's just lying there trying to go asleep, she heard between her head and the pillow this voice somehow manifested underneath her ear. And what did it say?
It said hug.
Hug.
Like,
What she made out was hug, but I was like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you're not getting confused? Are you sure you weren't drifting asleep and your mind is dreaming, basically? And she was like, no, I heard it clear as day. It said hug.
But what freaks me out the most about that is the fact that this shallow person is sat on the pillows like he's wanting a hug. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, that is just weird. Like, that creeps me out.
The ghost has got attachment issues.
Like,
Seriously.
hug out of all things, like, you'd be like, I don't know, just say something a bit more like
Roar.
less creepier, but hug, like,
It's just weird. It makes no sense to me. You can debunk it in any way because I don't even know what to believe or how to get my head around it.
it's a bit unexplainable, isn't it? Like, it's
It
just,
is
like,
just
it's
weird.
weird.
But I just feel like it's weird again that the situation parallels with the fact that I seen a figure on my mum's side of the bed on the pillows. Like, I didn't even think nothing of that. My mum doesn't even know that because we've not even put them two pieces together until now. Take what you will and think what you will of that because we don't know.
I vote creepy.
I vote spooky.
I vote crazy as hell.
I think as well though, like at this point, it's kind of obvious that this entity is being like a bit of a Dennis the Menace, you know what I mean? Like he's
It
being,
is a bit like menacing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like the certain things that are happening, like the fact that
tossing stuff around.
you got in trouble, like I know with this whatever it was,
Yeah.
if it is real, when like particularly trying to get in trouble, but like I don't know, I can't even explain it. Like I just proper menacing the fact that like they moved it, like and then you're going off your head being like, I know for a fact
Yeah.
I put it there, and like
But we also got in trouble for a similar situation.
yeah, this next story again, it's kind of funny. This next bit, like
Maybe we're just all naughty.
so basically this next thing took place when we were in the midst of like planning to move out and stuff, and we just happened to be having a conversation with our dad about like buying cutlery and stuff, and he made the joke like, oh, bet you won't bin your spoons when you move out, and we were like, what are you on about? Like, we've never been spoons in our lives. And apparently him and my mum were adamant that when we were younger, when we used to eat yogurt in school, instead of just putting the spoon in the sink, we used to bin the spoons.
I
Apparently,
still don't think I'd ever
I don't know, yeah, I think it was Hannah. I'm going to blame Hannah and Steve, not older siblings, because I just didn't think it was me. That whole conversation took place in the evening, and then it weren't until the next evening my mum came into me and Louise and be like, oh, you'll never guess what I found in the bin. And I forgot all about that conversation. We'd be like, what? And she was like, a teaspoon in the bin. And we were like, what the hell? Like, you're lying,
Again,
you're
it just looked
lying.
like we was lying and we're just these like
Yeah.
serial
But I thought
teaspoon binners.
But I thought my mum was lying. I was like, you're lying, you're me up. Like, no, you haven't. Like, I know for a fact you haven't found a teaspoon in the bin. She was like, I have. But what is the weirdest thing about the situation is, I remember this clear as day. My mum's boyfriend was in work that day, and in the morning, I made me, Louise, and my mum a cup of tea, and like I made it, and then we all went out for the day, and then we didn't have this is going to sound so stupid, but we didn't have another cup of tea or coffee that day. Like, I knew for a fact we hadn't. Believe me or not, I have a set way of making a cup of tea, so I'm convinced that if I put the sweetener in before I put the milk and before I've drained the tea bag is going to absorb the sweetener and the tea won't be sweet. So I have a set way of draining my tea bag, taking it to the bin and coming back with my spoon to then mix in the sweetener into the hot tea so it all blends nicely. I know it's weird, but that is my set way. So I know for a fact I left the bin with the spoon in my hands because I needed to finish off making my cup of tea. Anyway, obviously after that, I just put the spoon in the sink, like that was it. But I just think, again, as we touched upon before, how menacing, if this is real, obviously this can be the boat, can't it? Like,
Yeah.
I believe I didn't bin it. Whether Louise and my mum binned it, that's another story, I don't know, but they adamantly didn't bin it. But if this is real, this is just such another example of it being menacing. Like, I heard that conversation.
Yeah.
Like, that was a conversation we had for about 10 minutes at least, weren't it? Debating back and forth whether we used to bin the spoons or not.
And we've not found a teaspoon in the bin for years.
For years,
Like, so why now? Are we
and
just
since,
now these? Why now
yeah,
are we
since.
binning teaspoons again
Yeah.
from the age of 8?
Like, it only happens when it's, like, relevant.
And talked about.
Yeah, and I know that, like, people might hear that and think, oh, maybe you did it because it was on your mind and stuff like that, but then all of the other things that have happened similar to that, like the fleeces and, I don't know, like, seeing things and then, like, you see something on the pillow and then your mum hears something through the pillow and stuff like that, everything just keeps going hand in hand. And it's like, if it was one thing, like it was just the teaspoon, you would probably think, oh, it was on your mind, and you were like maybe tired that day and you did it by accident, and then that's that. And we physically cannot complete the anatomy of the cup of tea without the teaspoon returning from its potential final destination of the bin. It must return to the counter so
And we
that
did
it
not
can
make any
steer
of
the
our cup
milk.
of teas, so we did not use any teaspoons at all.
There we go.
Colour's crazy,
Debunked.
but I know I didn't bin that teaspoon.
Ghostbusters. And so when it's like okay for us to say, oh, it's kind of menacing, that can go on two different routes. It can either be like playful and like it's completely harmless and it's like only gonna do these things and that's where it draws a line, or it could be that it's dangerous, like it's doing things that could potentially cause like a bit of like a stir, like, you know, we've thrown away, like, well, you potentially have thrown away property of your mum's. I've, you know, potentially like spoiled property of my mum's. Like these things could have caused like bickers and arguments and stuff like that. I don't know. I just, the way that I saw it, I felt like this is a bit of like bad vibes. I just felt like the demon didn't pass the vibe check. So we decided we won't be bringing the Ouija board to this new apartment and like continuing to use it, especially would not use it again. I mean, because one, we didn't get a lot of activity on it anyway, but it was too coincidental that once the planchette and the board had been connected again and this portal potentially opened, all these things happened. We just thought maybe it's a big no on that, like hard pass.
We actually wanted to completely get rid of it, like we wanted like to bin it or like move it somewhere.
We didn't know what the right way to do.
We did,
Yeah.
if someone like knows how to get rid of it, let us know. But it's currently still in my mum's house because my mum didn't want to get rid of it.
She didn't want to part with it.
I don't know why.
She said, don't bin it, don't bin it, don't bin it. I was like, so you're going to play with it by yourself?
Yeah,
She was like, I might use it one night. I was like,
do not.
let us know. One, a lot of homework because we need help. So homework task number 1 is let us know if we're crazy or if you believe us in the comments below. Homework task 2, let us know any tips or tricks on how to dispose carefully of a Ouija board that we think may be causing some paranormal activity. And 3, like and subscribe.
Of course.
That is it. There will be an LRL season 2 as promised. That will be coming sometime soon in the
Hopefully when
foreseeable.
lockdown is lifted, we're going to be jumping back straight into it, which is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
we're going to
good.
just see what the future holds.
Future holds safety and
LRL season 2.
Cuddles.
yeah. Night.